A brand new episode of the Happy Productive Podcast is about to begin. It's time to be inspired by simple and actionable solutions for your business. If you're an established business owner or just laying down the first brick of your future empire, the mantra is the same. We will flip any failure into a positive and use it to our advantage. This show is all about turning coal into diamonds. With the right plan and mindset, anything is possible. And your host, Jennifer Dawn, business coach and founder of The Best Planner Ever, will help you to achieve your ambitious goals. Success is closer than you think. Now, here's Jennifer Dawn.
Hello, and welcome to Happy Productive, episode number 12. This is Jennifer Dawn, and I'm excited to be here with you today. And I'd love to talk on today's episode about how open you are to receiving guidance in your life. And I titled the episode, Are You Coachable? Obviously, I am a coach. And if you are working with a coach or thinking of working with a coach, this is going to be such an important thing, is coming to that coaching relationship and being in a mindset of willing, okay, to receive guidance. And here's the thing. So we all have challenges that we're struggling with in life or in our businesses. Maybe we have plenty of money, but our love life is a total disaster. Or we might have really amazing friends and a fulfilling social life, but we hate our job or hate our career, right? So whatever it might be for you, I'm sure that there is some area of your life where you have a desire to change it or improve it. But here's the thing. We have to ask the question, am I truly open to guidance in this area of my life? Because the sad truth is that most of us are not. We might think that we are, but the truth is we're not. We are instead operating on a set of limiting beliefs. And instead, we want to, stay in more of a victim mindset, or we've given away our power and we want to make excuses, or we think things are happening to us instead of for us. And we're looking for the people around us to really validate where we are. But that is not being coachable, and that is not being in a state where you are willing to receive guidance. This is why whenever I work with a new coaching client, the very first question that I ask them before we ever even get started is, are you coachable? And I don't think I've met anyone who answered that question, oh, no, I'm not coachable. But I can tell that there are a lot of people who think they're coachable, but they're really not. And here's the deal. This is not just, I'm not picking on anybody. It's just kind of the way that it works, because as we go through life and we have these struggles, and then we really want to change, so we'll start to seek answers. But then we get an answer or we get some guidance and we either don't really like it, maybe something about it doesn't quite feel right, or it just goes in one ear and right out the other because we're too busy, we're too distracted, we're too up in our heads. Sometimes we don't even receive the guidance because we're so in our heads. And you probably have experienced this where you had some kind of a situation, right? Where you're just like, oh, I should do this. And then you do something completely different. And then it doesn't go right. And you're like, crap, I knew better, right? Have you had that happen? I know I've had it happen many times where you're like, oh, I knew better and I didn't listen and I did something else. This actually happened to me a few months ago. I did a consult with a potential client, and while we were on the phone in the consult, I just had a funny feeling that they weren't really serious. They weren't going to stick with it. But, I always want to try and help, and I always want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And even though I knew better, I was like, okay, I'm going to let this person into the coaching group who promised, they were in it for the long haul and they were going to be there. And sure enough, they dropped out like in, a week. And I was like, well, Jen, you know what? You already knew it. I already knew it. I just chose not to listen. And this is what I'm talking about. So whether we're tapping into our own intuition or whether we're working with a coach, I really want to encourage you this week to really tap into your listening skills and allow yourself to actually be guided. Now, yes, we want to listen with our ears to the information that's coming in, but what I'm really talking about is really going deeper and listening with your heart. Because here's the thing, coaching, like if you're in a coaching relationship, the guidance is definitely going to come. You're going to hear it with your ears, but then you want to feel it with your heart. If you're tapping into your own intuition, your intuition also comes from the heart. It doesn't necessarily come from all that endless mind chatter that's running like nonstop through your head. Instead, what we want to do, we want to tap into our hearts, because our hearts are really where intuition lives. That's our true listening center. But you really can't tap into that if you're always in your head. And this is why it's so important to really spend a few moments just clearing out the space. And I'm going to give you just a quick little exercise to do this. Like, everybody can do this. You need to just eliminate distractions. So get off the phone and turn off the email and maybe get away from the screens. Go somewhere where you won't be disturbed if possible. But honestly, you can do this at your desk too. I do it at my desk all the time. Okay. Just close your eyes, take a big deep breath. And then as you let it out, you actually want to make the noise as it releases. Ah, right? Have you ever, maybe you're waking up in the morning and you stretch and you make that big, like, sound, or you're on vacation, right? And you're out taking a nap, or you're laying on the beach and you just like roll over and you're so relaxed and it's like, well, that sound helps us to release any stress or tension. It helps to quiet the mind. It also just feels really, really good. My kids and my husband are used to hearing me make this noise as I like walk around the house or if I'm sitting on the couch, and they know that mom is just relaxing. So it's just a simple exercise. You can just take 3 or 4 really deep cleansing breaths. And as you make that noise and release that energy, you're going to feel your energy kind of shift down into your heart center, and you're going to be able to feel the quiet. And it also helps that mind chatter to just like quiet down and get quiet. And then once you're in that heart space, from there, you just want to simply practice listening. This is where you can ask, if maybe you're planning your day. I do this all the time, you guys. I'm going to plan my day. I want to get out of my head, 3 or 4 deep cleansing breaths, to where I just feel relaxed and quiet and in that heart space. And then I ask, are these the best things for me to be doing today? When I was going to record this podcast, I asked my intuition, what should I be teaching? What's going to help people? And this is the topic that came up. And so I hope that it is reaching you and you are hearing it. And hopefully it's just the right message that you needed today. Now, when you practice listening, you may not get an answer right away, and that's okay. You might get an answer later in the day once you sort of go about your business or while you're in the shower. This happens all the time, but just take 3 or 4 minutes and just sit there and kind of practice listening with your heart. The same goes if you're working with a coach. Don't show up to a coaching session where I've got all the answers, or you're only looking for others to just validate that you're right and your way is the only way. Instead, if you really want to get something from the coaching relationship, show up with an open mind and open heart. Be willing to learn, be willing to listen, be willing to be guided. And then once you receive the guidance, be willing to take action on it. This quite possibly may put you in a new direction, something that you're not expecting. Your brain might be like, I'm a little bit scared by this, or it's out of my comfort zone. If you use the best planner ever, these are our A tasks where we actually are routinely getting out of our comfort zone, but it's all about tapping into that internal guidance or coaching guidance that will take us in that new direction, that will lead us to the outcome we're after, which is realizing the vision of our life that hopefully we've spent a little time creating. Okay. And it's going to take you in a new direction, because if you do the same old every single day, your future is very predictable. You're going to get exactly the same as what you have today. If you don't change, if you don't do something different, if you don't go in a new direction, if you're not willing to try something new. So if there's any part of your life that isn't working the way that you want it to work, this is why it's so important to be in a state where you are willing to receive the guidance, and then you're willing to actually take action in that new direction. Sometimes we end up going into like a challenge in our life and we're trying to change it, but we're going into it with a very limiting belief. And so if the limiting belief is, I can't trust my guidance, or nobody ever helps me, or even if I work with a coach, it won't work out, right? If you go into it with that kind of belief, what's going to happen is that you're going to prove yourself right. And the way that you prove yourself right by, saying, hey, this isn't going to work for me. It works for everybody else, but it won't work for me, which, you guys, I'm sorry, but it's total bullshit. It's just stuff that we've made up. And we've got this belief. And so then what happens is we end up almost sabotaging our efforts to prove ourselves right, to prove, see, it wouldn't work for me. But it does not have to be that way if you go into it willing and ready to receive guidance, to receive coaching, to receive help, and then being willing to actually do something right. Not do something right, to do something new and different, and not be so concerned about proving yourself right. Or go into it with the belief, this can work for me, this can help me, I can focus, I can have what I want, I can fix this area of my life. And then prove yourself right on that belief. Okay, you guys. So I hope that you receive this message, the guidance that's coming to you, or if you're working with a coach, that guidance that's coming to you. I want you to really take it in, be willing to step out, take a new direction. It will make such a wonderful difference in your life. And if you're like, this sounds great, Jennifer, but I really need a little bit more help with it, no worries. Come. Okay, sorry. I think we had a little blip in the recording. So if you're feeling like you really just need some help with this, then come on down and check out the Goal Achievers, where we tackle a life coaching topic every month. Or if you are a business owner and you need help with your business, you can join the Inner Circle. You can find out more on my website, which is jenniferdawncoaching.com. And I also mentioned earlier the Best Planner Ever. This is my daily planning tool, which ties everything that I teach on my podcast together. And you can check that out at bestplannerever.com. Okay, guys, that's it. Get out there. My challenge would be this week to just spend a little time listening, quieting the mind chatter, and being willing to receive and act upon any and all guidance that's coming to you. So that would be a wonderful thing to spend a few minutes a day on each and every day this week. I'd love to hear how it went for you. You can come and join my free Facebook group, which you can find at bestplannerever.club, C-L-U-B, bestplannerever.club. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, you can, of course, leave a comment, or on my blog, you can leave a comment there too. I'd love to hear how it works for you when you open yourself up to receive guidance, and then it comes to you and you do something with it, and it's amazing. So I would love to hear how this works for you guys. All right, that's it. Go out there and have a beautiful, happy, productive day. Bye.
I hope you found today's episode of the Happy Productive Podcast inspiring. Every successful business is formed by a set of small, consistent, and attainable steps. Visit us at jenniferdawncoaching.com to take your next step and learn how to meet your business goals. On the website, you'll find free resources, along with the links to the life-changing coaching programs that have transformed the personal lives of so many of Jennifer's clients. Many of them started their journey by listening to this podcast. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode.